From Mexico to Louisiana, the Red River down to the Laguna Madre, Texas is one big playground. Join professional bass fisherman and three-time FLW Angler of the Year, Clark Wendlandt, as he takes you on some of the best outdoor adventures the Lone Star State has to offer. This is Fishing and Hunting Texas. This week on Fishing and Hunting Texas, Clark heads back to his hill country ranch to try and chase down an old buck for the last hunt of the season. But first, we'll take you back to springtime and head to the bottomlands around the Colorado River to call up a few Texas Rios.
You know, we're on a kind of a rolling hill country ranch that I've actually never even been on before. What I know about it is just talking to the landowner that there's a good many turkey here. And so we're out trying to call a turkey. Have no idea what to expect. One thing about calling turkey is that, you know, you got to find those little windows. You got to get in the right place at the right time. Sometimes you got to move to them, sometimes you got to wait for them. But one thing we're going to start off doing is we're going to see if we can't actually figure out where they're roosting at. We're here kind of late afternoon. I'm going to do a few owl calls and just see if we can get one to gobble, know where he is, and then hopefully move in position in the morning. From that point on, it's just going to be wide open. We're going to be listening, moving to them, hunting. That's what calling's all about. It'll be awful fun. We're hunting in southern Mills County, right on the edge of the Colorado River. Beautiful, beautiful country. We've had good rain this year. There's lots of flowers, there's big giant oak trees and lots of pecan trees. We got here yesterday, late in the afternoon, we saw a lot of turkey, and we knew that there was an opportunity for it to be good. I mean, the anticipation of knowing you're on a great turkey place and knowing that there's going to be something respond to you, knowing something's going to happen, something's going to come to your call, something's going to answer your call. I mean, that expectation is incredible for me. You know, the one really surreal thing for both Scott and I as we sat there is we can see these three birds and they're gobbling in unison every single gobble. They weren't together to start the day, but they ended up together. And then there's four across the river, and all seven birds are strutting at the same time. They're spinning around. Those four across the river had a hen. And then finally, these three basically talk a hen to come into them, and then they are sitting there spinning around and strutting. I mean, how does it get any better than that? You know, when you're calling turkey, my understanding is you're basically trying to kind of trick Mother Nature a little bit. Because what happens is that gobbler sits there and sounds off, and then the hen's supposed to go to him. Well, sometimes you got to move a little bit. You know, we've been down in this bottom all morning, moving. They've been gobbling, they're going crazy, but they're usually with a hen. They're strutting around her and doing their deal. We had three of them going, but they just wouldn't come because, I mean, we're calling, but they were thinking the hen should come to them. And finally, all of a sudden, the hen goes to them, and then they do their deal. So, but we gotta just keep trying.
Well, coming up, we'll press on with our hill country turkey hunt. And later, Clark heads out for the last whitetail hunt of the season, right here on Fishing and Hunting Texas.
It's in our stomping grounds and our playground. It's in our sights and our commitment. It's in him, it was in them, and it will continue with her. It's in my nature. Is it in yours?
You put the cool in life. We put the cool in coolers. Arctic ice.
Let's get down to business. Quiet, you sons of fishes. Now, what?
I'm switching sonar.
Why?
Cause now I can see fish swimming live in front of my boat. I even see fish attack my lure. Y'all's sonar is just history. I'm out.
I'm with him.
Ever dreamed of fishing with an FLW champion? Well, now's your chance to win a guided fishing trip with 3-time Angler of the Year and Americana Outdoors staff member Clark Wendlandt. Americana Outdoors is giving a trip in October of 2016 with a legend of the sport for a day of bass fishing that will be filmed for Americana Outdoors. Sign up to win at americanaaoutdoors.com.
Experience High-Vis, a brighter sight picture than standard sights, giving you an immediate, more successful shooting performance. High-Vis lets you see a dramatic contrast between the target and the barrel for a more intuitive aim that delivers instant results. Our light pipes come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors, designed to be seen in a variety of conditions. With our broad line of sights, you'll see your marksmanship dramatically improve, bringing more fun and confidence into every shooting experience. Shoot more accurately. Enjoy the sport. Choose High-Vis.
Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you in part by Cabel'as. It's in your nature. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And by Garmin, the power of simple. Welcome back to Central Texas. We're in Mills County, about 100 miles north of Austin, and we're chasing spring turkey on a private ranch along the Colorado River. Now, early in the hunt, Clark was able to locate several gobblers. He's got a group of 4 with a hen across the river. He's also found 3 hung up along a fence line, but they're strutting and answering his calls.
You know, one of the real challenges here is the openness of this place. It's got some great bottom country in it, but it's got a lot of open country. The 2 things that really helped us in that open ground, though, is there's a lot of undulation, so we could actually use a little rise to move. We moved 3 or 4 different times. We also were able to use some of the high grass. The grass is I mean, it's in super good shape this year, and those turkey are out there eating grasshoppers and picking seeds out. And I mean, I think as far as Texas goes, the Rio population ought to just be an explosion this year, because the nesting habitat and the amount of feed they have ought to really be second to none.
Using the terrain and the tall grass, Clark and his brother Scott were able to get out in front of those 3 birds.
50.
We figured out how to kind of get around on them, and we didn't get all the way around. We got just a little ways around on them and started calling, and they answered.
You see him yet? No. They're right in line with that cow.
And in my mind, there was no possible way those turkey were going to work to our left side. They were going to come around us to the right. And so the way we set up, Scott kind of nestled into a tree, and I kind of got right on the, kind of sitting up in the roots of it. And here they come. I mean, they're coming on a string. I can't see them, but he's whispering to me, they're coming, keep calling. I'm calling, I mean, and all of a sudden, there's a cow there, and the cow barely nudges them, and they go left of us. And they end up literally 10, 12, 15 yards away to the left, just easy, easy shot.
See the one through the little mesquite?
Oh, that was incredible. I mean, so what happened is they actually came on the left side of us. I told Scott, there's no way they're coming to the left. They come around the left, they come all the way around us, and then finally he can see the bird again. And so they're about 50 yards away, and so I start calling, and I'm behind this gigantic oak tree. And so I'm just sitting there, I'm above him, and I'm sitting there calling, and they're going, and they're going, I mean, they gobbled 100 times. That's the funnest thing I have just about ever done right there. Can you get that one? I actually shot him right here, right next to this oak tree, and he rolled down this hill. Here he is. Oh my goodness. That big old bird right there. Big old spurs on him. Check this guy. Masher beard on this guy. Look at that. Big spurs. Let's see what his fan looks like. Get his wings out. What a hunt. I cannot tell you how unbelievable that was. It's what calling game is all about. You just don't know what's going to happen. You know, those birds right there, you have no idea where they're going to come, and you know, you can just set up the best you can. We set up for where we knew they were gobbling from and coming, and we thought, you know, there's no way with the contour of the land that they're going to go to that side of us. We thought they got to come to this side. It was going to be, I mean, they were going to come right in there. It didn't happen that way. They went around us. We have to stand up, position on the tree. Turkey, I mean, the best seeing animal there is. Get around the other side. I actually call them back, and boom, here's what came of it right here. Ooh. I want to talk just a little bit. Just killed this giant Rio right here, and I want to talk a little bit about what the calls that actually made it happen for us. I haven't been turkey calling very long. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm an expert. I've always been able to owl hoot okay, you know, so I can make a sound that actually get one to gobble. We did it last night. I don't know if that sounds good, but the turkey will gobble at it. So that's one thing we've got. And then the slate call really is what I use the most, and it just, you know, you can make enough variation in sounds. I've got a box call. I've used it a couple of times earlier in the morning, but for this bird, I really didn't. And the different calls that I know are a yelp. There's either a soft yelp or a loud yelp, but the soft yelp is... There's a purr. And a cluck. And that's actually what got those turkey the most excited. When I'd sit there and purr like that and throw a quick cluck in there, and I mean, they would light up. Every one of them's fanning. They're going around each other, drumming, spitting. I mean, it is incredible. But it's not like you got to know just a whole bunch. And you got to, it's trial and error. I mean, sometimes it's a yelp that gets them. Sometimes it's a purr. Sometimes it's a cluck. I've got a gobble. I can throw a gobble out there. I didn't ever need to here, but man, all it is, trial and error. Get out there and do it. There's nothing like it. Calling game, man, it is super, super fun.
Hey, if you'd like to keep up with Clark and his adventures, check out his blog on fishinandhuntingtexas.com. Coming up, we'll head to the field for the last whitetail hunt of the season.
Total performance. Nowhere could it be more defined than in the Ranger Z series. With unparalleled advancements, these rigs are driven to dominate. Coupled with Evinrude E-Tech's unrivaled performance and up to 500 hours with no dealer schedule maintenance, they're the ultimate fishing machines. The legendary leadership of the Ranger Z500 series. It's the kind of feeling nothing else can touch. Power your Ranger with Evinrude E-Tech.
There's two things between an angler and the fish, the sun and the bugs. Sawyer's line of sunscreens and bug sprays keep you focused on the fish. Sawyer's Stay Put sunscreen formula bonds with your skin for a more comfortable and better level protection. And picaridin insect repellent will only harm the bugs, never your fishing gear. Also, Sawyer permethrin repels and kills on contact over 55 species of insects. You're already outdoors. Sawyer keeps you there.
These are my Strike King S11s. Get your own.
We've always looked for ways to block out distracting light. Wiley X has gone one step further. Peripheral light diminishes the effectiveness of polarized lenses. Only Wiley X removable facial cavity seals block out that light. And you see fish better. Wiley X, absolute premium protection for sportsmen.
Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you in part by Strike King Lure Company and Optics, Sawyer, we keep you outdoors, and by High-Vis Shooting Systems, see what you've been missing, and by AmericanaOutdoors.com.
You know, I've hunted in Texas my whole life, and I can only remember a handful of times that I've actually got to go out and hunt in the snow. Hunters all across the country get to do it all the time, but in Texas, we just don't see it that often. We're hunting for a mature buck. It's really cold, winds howling. We're gonna be kind of in a protected bottom. Let's go see what we can do. We've got a great location. We're getting hammered by the wind, but the place we're hunting is pretty protected. Edge of a creek, you've got great visibility. We've never actually even sat here before. It's just a place that looks really cool, and the darn snow makes it even that much cooler. You know, really this whole hunt started, we were bow hunting, and we were sitting on the edge of this field. The deer had just been starting to pile into these fields. And a deer snuck up behind us. I couldn't even see it. Scott could see it with the camera. And it ends up being this old 9-year-old deer, a deer that we've, you know, hunted for years. And now basically he's on his way downhill. And I mean, he was very, very healthy, looked really good, but all of a sudden we started thinking, well, hey, I don't know, maybe we can pattern him in this field. So then we fast forward, you know, we hunted a little bit more and tried to kill that deer with a bow a little bit, but we just never saw him again. And we started thinking that we needed to make a change and do something a little bit different. So we end up, you know, out in the middle of that field, kind of where most of those deer were actually heading for. You know, they're all kind of going the right direction. We had to wait for the right wind. The wind, you know, for the most part, the wind, you know, is dominantly in Texas, a lot of times out of the south, and a south wind wasn't gonna work there. We finally get a change of wind, and we go there one afternoon, and boom, that deer pops in. And we see him. I mean, if I would have shot really fast when he walked in the field, I could have got him, but I couldn't get my gun up that fast. He gets behind some other deer. We were fighting light, and you know, before I know it, it closes down on us and it gets dark. And you know, we just decided to wait and didn't shoot him. So then we fast forward for another week or so, and we get right around to the end of the season. I mean, basically the last day I can hunt. I spend the morning, we get this great snow event, and I mean, you know, how many times in Texas do you get to hunt in the snow? It doesn't happen. And so, you know, we went. And one thing we've noticed, we hunted cold around, you know, at our place quite a bit. And one thing we've noticed is when it's really bitterly cold, there's a lot of ice on the ground, you know, those deer just don't move. But hey, it's the very tail end of the rut. We were just thinking maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get a deer moving you know, in the snow. Maybe they'll be hungry. And so we get down there, and we just had a really cool setup. We were looking over this big kind of hardwood bottom, mainly elms. There's some mesquite in there, you know, a lot of green stuff though, just tons of green. Now you couldn't tell it because most of it's covered up with snow, but the few deer we saw, they did get in there and try to eat. You know, those deer weren't moving very good this morning, but we just had to get out there. I mean, there's not many times in Texas you get out to hunt in the snow. We saw 2 or 3 deer moving. This afternoon, we're gonna hunt this field. Those deer have no desire to be out in this field right now. It's solid ice, the whole thing is. But it ought to melt today. It's supposed to get a little bit above freezing. They ought to be piling in here tonight. It ought to be fun.
Coming up, Clark's got one more chance to take that buck. Once the sun sets, the season is over. We'll be right back with more from Fishing and Hunting Texas. Win a guided turkey hunting trip with Americana Outdoors staff member Jeff Reynolds. This hunting trip to South Texas will be filmed for Americana Outdoors and will be set for March of 2017, when the turkeys will be in full strut. Sign up today at AmericanaOutdoors.com for your chance to hunt for Rio Grande turkeys in South Texas.
When you're out hunting, make sure you're carrying GroveTech. GroveTech is designed specifically for the rigorous demands of the hunt and sets the standard for strength and ruggedness when out in the field. GroveTech products have simply built the best tools for the job and are proudly made in the USA. Go hunt. We'll carry the gun. GroveTech.
Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you in part by Wiley X, absolute premium protection. Arctic Ice, we put the cool in cooler. And by GroveTech. Go hunt. We'll carry the gun. Welcome back to the hunt. Well, this is it, the last day of the season. The day started off a little different than most Texas mornings. A storm passed through overnight, dusting the hill country in snow. A rare sight in these parts.
The snow is just now melted. We got a clear line, you know, some break in the clouds coming. If that sun pops out, those deer are gonna flock into this field. So we're taking a bit of a risk. This is my last hunt of the 2015 season. And we've got one buck that we've been looking for all year long and had several chances at it. My daughter had several chances at it. I had a chance the other day. It came in, it got behind some deer, and then it got too dark and I couldn't shoot it. Maybe we'll get a shot at it today, or maybe we'll find a different one. It ought to be fun. You know, we were hunting just any mature buck we saw, but when we saw that deer, it just, you know, all of a sudden it turned into kind of be a quest to try to get him. I mean, you know, we've had opportunities in the past at him, couldn't get it, couldn't kill him. He's broke tines, we couldn't kill him. I mean, there's different things. That deer at 5.5 years old and 6.5 years old was right at 150. I mean, a big 10 point. And, you know, he's digressed down to an 8 point. He's going, you know, basically downhill. We don't have any idea what he would have been next year. He might have gone and gotten bigger, but more than likely not. He would have continued on that downward spiral. And, you know, I mean, he was a loner. You know, he came in by himself every time. And it was just one of those deer that just basically slipped through the crack. Really cool deer. I made a great shot. That deer fell straight down. Incredible hunt, man. We didn't know if those deer were gonna start coming in here or not. That deer came in the exact same place he came in the other day. Came in the other day, I had a chance to shoot him the other day, but there was just too many deer in front of him the whole time. All these deer are right in front of him. I didn't shoot him quick enough when he got in the field. That deer's a 9-year-old deer, and we have hunted that deer so hard. God. Boom. You know, for me personally, and at our ranch, we just love trying to harvest mature bucks. And we want those deer to fill out their bodies and to get the biggest set of horns they possibly can have. And so we know that that's usually older. That's usually getting up to 7, even sometimes 8 years old. And those deer are gonna slip through the cracks from time to time, but it makes it challenging hunting those older deer. The most amazing thing about this deer is how hard we hunted this deer. You know, we tried to kill this deer for years and just never saw him when we could kill him. And then they started coming in these fields so good this year that all of a sudden he shows up down here. Look, I mean, you can see the gray in his face, the gray in his ears. He's got a lot of gray in his face. He still had a big neck. He rutted this year. But for some reason, this side right here just stunted out. And this side here is still pretty big. Great deer. Late season, last day of the season. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you get the opportunity, go check out our website, like us on our Facebook page. Let us know where you'd like to see us go all around this great state. We'd love to hear from you.
Hey, a big thanks to our sponsors for helping to make this week's show happen. And thanks to those of you that have made Fishing and Hunting Texas one of the longest running outdoor shows on television.